are watching live, thank you for joining us. I've got my good friend Carl Tambeau here, JC, and he's going to talk about how he got started with his podcast, his first podcast. Now, the reason that a lot of people want to do podcasts and some people haven't made that stretch and why people should do it, well, it's more exposure, right? But I'm going to ask JC what he thinks, how he got started, what he's using, and why this particular topic. But this is the Tuesday live stream, the Tuesday DMS blog report, the DMS blog report. So I want you guys to, thank you for joining us. But I want you to welcome my good friend, Mr. JC Tambeau.
Well, hello, Tracy, and thank you for having me. Listen, no, that's an awesome. That's very good. You and I have been connected a long time, and we never ever had the opportunity to do this interview thing. And when you said the other day, I was thinking, oh, I don't know. But you know what? I really respect everything you do, and I really enjoy your stuff. And sometimes not being able to connect with you on these events is it's nice to see what you do.
Yeah.
And I did say before the show, I said, can I do a shout out to Harry? And I'm not going to try and take over this, but Harry, your shirt, I still like that shirt.
Well, Harry's not on here yet, but I
No, but
will
if he sees
definitely
it,
make sure that he sees. But Pam
exactly.
is here, my dear friend
Oh,
Pam.
hello,
So good
Pam.
morning, Pam. Yes, thank you for joining. She says, "Welcome, JC."
Thank you, thank you.
But
So yeah, no, the podcast it
wait a
started.
minute. Wait a
Oh,
minute.
sorry.
Wait a
Yeah.
minute. Who's
What?
running this show?
Oh, I thought you asked.
Wait, I'm gonna get to you, but first I want to just say something. I have appreciated our friendship. Well, you and I have been friends. We started being friends on Facebook, I think probably before 2010. At
Oh
least
yeah,
at least around 2010 we've been
yeah.
friends. And so Carl, I really was excited to have Carl to be on because our journeys have been connected for so long, and I'm super excited that you decided to have this podcast and you put it together rather quickly, based off of when you first told me you wanted to have a podcast, and just go ahead and diving into it. So I'm super excited, and I just want to congratulate you for making sure that
Thank you,
you got that started. Yes,
thank you. Yeah.
absolutely. So now let me ask you. Yes. Good friends, man, are hard to find. And, I really appreciate those of you that I am able to connect with. So, like you, Pam, you're just a blessing. So, I'm super grateful to all of you. And if you're watching this later, you can put hashtag replay. I just appreciate everybody that has been a positive part of my life. So, thank you, thank you, thank you. So, let me ask you, what made you want to have a podcast?
Well, I think I remember telling you. I don't know if it's been a month now or not, but I sent you a message. I've got this buddy of mine who's a truck driver. Talk to him every day, and I spent 10 years plus almost 10 years in the trucking industry, but not as a truck driver. And I was in the office, and I seen a lot of stuff. We seen those things and heard things that sometimes you just shake your head at, and what these guys and gals go through. And so when I woke up one day here about a month ago, like I don't know if you want to call it an epiphany or whatever, but it wasn't really a big deal. But I said, you know what? Why don't I start with all these stuff we've been hearing about in the world, all the truck drivers, and this year recent issues in Canada with the pandemic and the protesting. I said, why don't we try to bring a different side of this to who a truck driver really is? And then it just hit me. Truck drivers, they have feelings too. I was talking to a guy over at at one of the truck stops, and he didn't say, "Oh, I got feelings too," but you could kind of get along the lines of, does people really care about what we do? Do they care about who we are? Do they just see some angry, frustrated fella behind the wheel or some gal behind the wheel just going from here to there and complaining? And it got me thinking one day. But then I woke up with this idea and I shot you off a message. And I think I remember saying something to the effect of, I just got this great idea.
Yeah.
And then you responded back very positively. And your son, I understand, if you don't mind me saying.
Yeah, my son's a truck driver. Yes.
Right. And my son's a truck driver now too. And, so it hits closer to home than what it used to, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in respect to all that, I thought, well, why not put it out there? But then I'm the type of person, I got to say, I will say I'm going to put it out there, and I do really. I mean what I say. So the day that I talked to you, I wrote you gave me back your response, and I wrote my first script within 2 or 3 hours, and I'm
Mhm.
looking, I'm thinking, okay, well this could work. I even ran it by my buddy Greg there. I was telling him, and he was saying, he's got some really good knowledge. He's been over 30, 35, 40 years in the business, and and I'm looking at all this thing, and I'm thinking, okay, this could go somewheres,
Mhm.
but I'm not looking for it to go anywhere. I was looking for it just to kind of get a maybe change public perception a little bit. I'm not trying to be the hero and saying, hey, this is what we're going to do. But, even if you change a few people's opinions on what's going on in the industry and giving them a bit of history as to where we were to where we are, and, you're looking at people or they make 55. I did it all out, and it's like you're talking 50, 55, 60% less wages today than they made in 1980. And I said, who does that?
Mhm. Mhm.
So I got to looking at it that way. But with your help and with your support and with everybody I've talked to, they've all said the same thing. It's a good idea, but you still get in the back of your head. It's like, is it really? So
Yeah.
I decided, I was in this group the other day on something completely unrelated. And this guy by the name of Mike Mack, he's a truck driver in the States, and he goes up and down the road. He's a driver, but he helps other drivers. I'm not. He's got a podcast of his own. He's seen my message there. He I guess how it went was he said something about something I was working on, and he was telling me he was a truck driver, and I just gave him my story. I said, I was going to do this podcast based on truckers have feelings, and he said, "Okay, come back." I think a couple hours later, that's a good idea. He said, "Shoot me off what you want, what you're thinking." So I did. So he shoots back, and he said, "You got to do this." He said,
Yeah.
"You got to do this."
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
said, "All right." I said, "Tracy says I got to do it. Mike Max says I got to do it." So I committed, and I said, "All
Yes.
right, I'm going to do it because I said I was going to do it." So I'm a firm believer. If you're going to do something, you say you're going to do it, just do it.
Do
And if
it.
it's
Get
the
it
only
done.
episode I put out, that's okay.
And
Done.
it's okay. So now let me ask you, what platform did you decide to use? What podcast did you use? So like recently I had people asking me, Tracy, because I've not done a podcast yet. Yet your story inspires me to start doing one for what it is that I do.
Yeah.
So someone asked me, well, how do I even begin a podcast? What platform do I use? So what did you use to get started?
Mike told me to use Anchor, and I never heard tell of Anchor in my life. The reason he used Anchor because he's got his phone in his truck basically, and right off his mic he can just record and go. And I
Mhm.
used Anchor. That's what I just recorded on. I'm
And so
not
Anchor is, I know
Anchor.
what Anchor is, but just tell people.
Oh, sorry. Anchor is the podcast platform that you can actually put your podcast show on. So you
And
can
it's
put
a
your
app, right?
It's an app. Yeah, actually, the app was on my phone. I've got it right here. You can actually fire it right on your phone. Oh no, sorry, shut my phone off. But anyways, yeah. So the app itself is Anchor. Yeah, you can do it right off your phone. And I'll tell you, I was impressed. I use a external mic for everything in my voiceover years back, but
Mhm.
this mic off the phone, it was really good. I mean, I think it sounds good. Now,
Yeah.
mind you, when I record it, I go in the closet. Now, anybody that knows me that I grew up with said, well, that's fine. Good place for Carl is in the closet because he's a closet case anyways, right? So it
Well,
was I had a little bit of a buffer in there, so I didn't have to worry about too much external noise.
yeah.
But anyways, yeah, it's so far, and what it does, what Anchor does, it puts you automatically on Spotify.
Okay.
Automatically puts you on Spotify. Now, I don't know about the other ones. I'm not familiar 100% with Anchor. I've got to play with it a
Mhm.
bit. I did start looking at uh, Castus, Castos, or something like that.
Yeah, we
But
won't worry about them, but you're using
no, but
Anchor.
Anchor's working. And
Mhm.
so far, but the only thing I don't understand about Anchor yet, and maybe I shouldn't be saying this because I'm new at this, but
No,
is
it's
the cost side of it. No one's asked me for money for this thing yet.
okay.
So,
Mhm.
well, I don't know where this is. Now, maybe once you hit so many uh, reviews or
Yeah.
something, you start. I don't.
I
I
don't
got to
know
check
either,
into
but
that more,
yeah.
so I'm a little off on that. But in
Yeah.
saying that, it's where I mean, so far it seems pretty good.
Yeah. Well, I want to say, say some of the things that Pam says here. She's never heard of Anchor before. So Thanks for sharing that.
Hey, you're
Um,
welcome.
she said that this is a great idea. They have been vilified in this freedom world. Um, so they're the livelihood of the continent, and that's so true. And just for me, like I said, my son, he's a truck driver. I have a friend in Georgia who's a truck driver. I know people behind that wheel, and
Right.
I hear their stories, about how people treat them on the roads and stuff. And so I
Yep.
really thought that this was a good topic for you to go ahead and start. And again, just kind of talking about the podcast, just getting started with the podcast was super important. So we only have a few minutes left, but I just want to ask, how do you feel? What are you going to do to promote going forward? Any ideas?
I don't 100% have a lot of ideas on that because it's so brand new.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to expect out of this. All I can tell you this: we don't have enough time, obviously, to talk about what I know about the trucking industry, but we also don't have enough time to talk about other people's stories. So I think this could go somewheres.
Hmm.
And as far as a promotion, I'm not even getting into it to make money. It wasn't even about the money thing. It was about getting the word out.
Hmm.
And if it makes money somehow down the road, okay, that's fine. But the point was the whole point was getting the word out and having some fun with it, telling some real stories about people. What they went through. I know I know of people who have ditched their trucks down embankments, killed themselves, not to be negative, but to
Hmm.
save other people's lives because they were having a
Hmm.
heart attack behind the wheel, or they were about to crash, throw their son out the window, out of the door to save his life before they go down. Like
Hmm.
those are sad, sad stories and really traumatic stories. And I'm not looking for to bring a huge amount of traumatic trauma to this, but I'm
Right,
trying
right.
to say, hey, these are real people that people don't know the stories about some of these things that have taken place. People getting shot at in Philadelphia, people getting like these are real stories, and what drivers have also done to help other people.
Hmm.
The inspirations they've done, how inspiring they've been.
Hmm.
Quickly, where we used to live before, I had this young lady who was backing her rig into a big parking lot across from us. I had my granddaughter with me, who's 6 years old, and she's watching. I said, look, Abby. I said, there's a lady driving the truck. And she said, no. She says, women don't, or no, how she put it, ladies don't or something don't drive trucks. I said, yes, they do. And she's
Yeah.
back, and she stood there and watched her and watched and watched her for about 15 minutes. The lady gets out of the truck, and she comes over to her, and she says, Abby says to her, she says, wow. She said, you can drive a truck? And she said, yeah. And she said, I'll never be able to drive a truck. She said, you can do whatever you want to do. This is what she
That's
said to Abby.
great.
After that lady left, she said, Papa, she said, I can actually do whatever I want to do. I said, yeah, anything good you want to do, you can do. You want to drive a truck, drive a truck. You want to do this, you want to. And after that, it was like a light, the light in her eyes is like, wow, like this lady, the way she talked to her.
Yeah.
And, they're not just truck drivers. They're not just, you know, it's so much more than that that people just don't
Hmm.
understand. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do, if that makes
Right.
sense.
Right.
Hopefully
No,
that makes sense.
absolutely. So how can people tune into your and before I ask that question, I want to acknowledge what Pam said. She says she thinks the most important thing is to persist. So, you got started, just keep going.
Right.
And we're gaining traction and keep at it. So I want to say that. So how can people find your show? Um, how do we watch you or listen to you rather?
Anchor, I can give you a link to it. I don't know if it's through Anchor is all I know, that Anchor
Okay.
podcast. So
Mm-hmm.
what I'll do is, do you want me to put a link in
Yeah,
here?
yeah. So once this is over, drop a link in the comments so that
Okay.
people can click on that and be able to check you out. I like the thumbnail that you have for it. He's got
Okay.
Legos. He's like trucks, Lego trucks or something. So I thought
Yeah,
that
my
was cute and
grandson did
creative.
that. Yeah,
Oh,
my grandson
perfect,
built
even
that.
better. Even better. So that was
Yeah.
amazing. Oh, and another thing that Pam was saying is that they're calling anything that even this platform. I know a lot of people will say to me, "Oh, Tracy, how do I listen to your podcast?" And I'm like, "It's not a podcast; it's a live video live stream." But you're right. You're right. People want to call it a podcast because it can. Video can be converted to audio as well. So just keep on, we are going to keep on checking you out as well. Look forward to the link. Yes, and it is a
Well,
fun graphic.
Do you mind if I say one more thing?
Quickly.
Go very quickly. If anybody has any stories out there, I'm open to hear them, and I certainly wouldn't mind adding on. Or if anybody wants to add something, please let me know.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely. I will definitely, if I know anybody, I will definitely make sure that they connect and send them those stories. And, it's important. It's important. People, we, we need to hear the stories of the people that are serving us and not taking people for granted. So yeah, so thank
exactly,
you, Carl.
exactly.
I'm so glad that you were able to come on today. And I
This
don't
is
want you to
awesome.
go away.
Thank you.
and and thank you, Pam, for your consistency, and being here and stuff. You are just the bomb. And everyone else that tunes in later, I was hoping uh I, he's not officially my stepson, but I was hoping my stepson would listen in as well because I'm excited about what he's doing. So I am just wanting everybody to do your thing, keep on pushing, and I'm excited for when you're ready to make the move on whatever it is that you're doing. So if you got a success story, share it here, share it with me so that I can go ahead and do the live stream. And we're streaming live on my Facebook page, my YouTube channel, and my Twitter. And then I put the link up on LinkedIn. So wherever you're watching from, make sure that you keep on watching, but also connect so that you can go ahead and come and join me and share some success thing that you're doing, and I can have you here. All right. So Carl, again, thank you. And don't
Thank
you go
you.
anywhere. And if you're watching later, hashtag replay. So for now, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. And thanks for watching.